Dee Snider is the most important person in my life, second only to my own parents, who just so happen to be the best parents any kid could hope to have. For 33 years now, Dee's been my hero, my role model, my idol, my mentor, and my friend. The story of how we became friends is one of legend and so unbelievable that even I sometimes don't believe it. But the long story short, when I was 8, my grandmother Gertrude bought me a Twisted Sister record and I became an overnight SMF, which stands for Sick Motherfucker, what real Twisted Sister fans call ourselves. I listened to it so much that when it eventually wore out, I actually buried it in my backyard. True story. Dee's lyrics empowered me to believe that even I, Adam Green from Holliston, Massachusetts, the son of a gym teacher and a Hebrew school teacher, could one day make it all the way to Hollywood, where I'd unleash the slasher movie I conjured up at summer camp called Victor Crowley on the world. I would change the title to Hatchet somewhere around 2003. Teachers and other people in authority positions in my life told me it would never happen, but thanks to Dee Snider's lyrics, my answer was always, I will, you'll see. In 4th grade, we had to do a report on the most influential person in our life. While most kids did reports on their mom or their dad, I stood up in front of the class with this Dee Snider doll that my mom helped me make and delivered a heartfelt speech about what Dee Snider stood for as a man. A guy who stayed loyal to his true love. A guy who was a family man in a business where family men don't usually exist. A guy who fought for every step of his success and who never had a single thing handed to him. A guy who didn't fall into the drug scene even though he built his career within an industry that celebrated the drug scene. And a guy whose words inspired others to stand up for themselves and believe. I got my first and my last A+ for that report. Flash forward to 1995, when Dee's new band Widowmaker was playing in Providence, Rhode Island. I get there 4 hours early, armed with a handwritten letter telling Dee how I'm now in film school and how I'm going to make it no matter what anyone says. As if by fate, I see him walking by on the street, and I hand him said letter. He reads said letter before he goes on stage and puts on an amazing show where he dedicates the last song to me. 3 months later, he writes me a letter thanking me for my letter and ends up telling me that someday he'll see me on the red carpet of some bigwig premiere. I graduate college in 1997 and I make a short film called Columbus Day Weekend. It sucked, but that doesn't really matter. My short gets some minor attention from some agents in Hollywood and I save up all of my money. I was shit broke, and eventually I fly out to meet with those agents. The agents don't actually meet with me because it took me too long to get out there, and now they're all about some short film featuring cardboard cutouts of little kids who swear a lot and live in a town called South Park that they believe will be a hit show and launch a then unknown network called Comedy Central into the stratosphere. What did they know? So I'd wasted all of my money on my trip that had no point, and I'm standing on the Sunset Strip denouncing Hollywood and officially quitting all of my hopes and dreams when I look up at that very moment and I see a sign on Tower Records. There used to be actual record stores where people would buy music, kids. And like a message from God, the sign says, "Tonight, get twisted with Dee Snider signing copies of his movie Strangeland." I talked my way into the front of the line and I get inside. Dee totally remembers me. He asks me how my movie career is coming. I say, it's not. He sternly tells me not to give up. So I fly back to Massachusetts, and in 1998, Will Barrett and I launch our own production company called ArieScope Pictures and make a movie called Coffee and Donuts for only $400 by borrowing equipment from Time Warner Cable, where we worked at the time making awful commercials like this one.
This just in, Castle Creek is now offering a full line of Treadwell's ice cream. It's tasty and good for you. As a matter of fact, I remember...
Halfway through shooting Coffee and Donuts, I get a serious warning from my boss to stop using the cable company's equipment every night for my own stuff or I will be fired. That night I go to see a hair metal concert at a venue that used to be called Great Woods, and Dee just so happens to be there. He wasn't performing, but he was hosting the show as promotion for his new nationally syndicated radio show, and boom, we run into each other again. I know this all sounds like I was stalking Dee Snider, but I swear this was all fate, and save for the few times I went through the trash cans outside of his old Long Island home, I never officially stalked him. Judging by his trash, the dude drinks a lot of coffee though. I'm just saying. Anyway, I tell Dee that my movie got shut down. He tells me I need to keep going anyway because no one can stop me. I keep going. My $400 romantic comedy that I wrote, directed, starred, and edited and did craft service for, Coffee and Donuts, wins Best Picture and the Smoky Mountain Film Festival, which is pretty much just as huge as winning Sundance, except that no one has ever heard of the Smoky Mountain Film Festival. It was barely even a real festival, and it's not even around anymore. In 2000, I get signed by the same agency that turned me away 2 years before, and I move out to Hollywood because people think Coffee and Donuts can be sold as a sitcom. Even though the industry seemed to love Coffee and Donuts, fortune and glory never happened, and I spend the next 3 years struggling to stay alive in LA while I do odd jobs like working as the DJ at the Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip, eating other people's leftovers out of the trash. True story. I determinedly write my movie Victor Crowley, now called Hatchet, in the DJ booth, finish it, and all the studios pass on it because it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, and it's not based on a Japanese one. a rejection letter that I turned into the film's fucking tagline when it did festivals in 2006. With the help of my friends, I make Hatchet independently, even though no one believes in it but us. At one point, I tell this crazy Dee Snider story to a dude named Robert Pendergraft who worked in the makeup effects shop, and a year later, when Hatchet gets accepted into the Tribeca Film Festival, Rob informs me that he lifted Dee's personal email address off of his old boss's computer and pushes me to write to Dee and tell him that I finally did it. I write to Dee. He surprises me by showing up at the premiere of Hatchet and walking me down the red carpet to my very first premiere. Hatchet goes on to become a franchise and generate millions and millions of dollars for a bunch of people who had nothing to do with making it. Dee and I have lunch the day after the premiere, and he tells me how over the last 10 years, every time he himself was hitting a bad time and felt like giving up, he would randomly run into me, and I would push his own words back in his face and unknowingly remind him that he had to keep going. See? Fate. Meanwhile, I go through 13 years of development hell with my sitcom, Coffee and Donuts, at various networks as mergers and other bad luck continually kill the show right as it's about to happen each time. But in 2011, Coffee and Donuts finally finds life under its new title, Holliston, on a tiny network called FearNet that was only carried in 18 homes and that no one could actually watch. But that doesn't matter right now. Dee winds up playing Lance Rocket on Holliston. All of these years later, we're best friends. His entire wonderful family takes me in, embraces me, treats me like I'm Cousin Oliver or something, and I love each of them. Each of them as if they are indeed my own extended family. Dee's son Cody becomes my protege through assisting me on Frozen and PAing for me on Hatchet 2, and goes on to become one of the most talented fucking filmmakers I've ever seen. Seriously, remember Dee Snider's name, because I would bet my life, no, fuck it, even more importantly, I would bet Arwen's life on the fact that Dee Snider is going to be one of the biggest filmmakers in cinema within just a few more years. And all of this, my films, my TV show, my career, ArieScope Pictures, this little web series, Scary Sleepover that you're watching right now, all of it. It's all because my grandmother Gertrude bought me You Can't Stop Rock and Roll when I was 8 years old. I can't stress enough just how incredible and how rare it is to look up to a man for your entire life, and then literally through fate, you both actually become part of each other's lives. But that same, almost mythical man that I idolize has lived up to every Herculean self-imposed expectation I placed upon him as a child, and then some. Guess you were wrong about Dee Snider, weren't you, Tipper Gore? My ambition, my drive, my unwavering belief that I could grow up to be who I wanted to be and make my dreams come true. The efforts I make to remain a positive role model and encourage and inspire my own fans now that I'm in the position to do so, it's all because of Dee Snider. All of this, everything you see and everything I am, it's all because of this. Inspiration is out there, and sometimes you find it in the most unlikely of places. But when you do find your inspiration, whatever shape, size, or format it comes in, hold on to that positive message tightly and don't ever, ever let it go. Don't let anyone tell you no or try to disenchant you with the odds. Fuck the odds, fuck being told no, and fuck giving up. Look and you'll see you're a lot like me. You're an SMF. I'm Adam Green, a proud, sick motherfucker until my dying day, and tonight, the greatest frontman in metal, the icon, the idol, the songwriter, the author, the playwright, the Broadway star, the actor, the activist, the freedom fighter, the family man, the radio personality, the guy who has not only done it all, but who has done it all with more heart, integrity, and hard work than anyone else out there, the one and only Dee Snider joins me for my scary sleepover.
Is it today?
It's today.
Okay, cool.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm on time.
Yeah, you're on time.
Yeah.
Say
Hey,
hi.
Arwen, how you doing? What's going on?
Her breath's actually gotten worse somehow.
You don't even know where that finger's been. Then again, you've licked worse.
You were just in Turks and Caicos?
Yes, I was in Belize. I was
Belize.
in Nashville. I just got back from Nashville.
All these foreign places, man. Nashville.
They're pretty foreign. I'm busy, but not too busy for you, bud.
Thank you.
I've got my pillow, and in this bag, I've got my pajamas.
Nice. Most people carry their pajamas in a James Bond-like
Yes.
suitcase.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is it actually strapped to you? Like
They're radioactive pajamas. That's,
you basically kind of coined the phrase with your radio show, if it ain't metal, it's crap.
Yes.
And sometimes throughout life, I find myself getting confused as to whether or not something is metal. Because sometimes I'll think something's metal, but then I'll find myself questioning, is it metal? I don't know.
Understandably.
Yeah, so I thought you could help me out and define if something is metal or not metal.
I'm the world's foremost authority.
Yeah.
I'm a metallurgist.
That's true. So I'm just gonna throw some stuff at you and you tell me metal or not metal.
Got it.
All right. Eating healthy.
Not metal.
Art.
Art? Crayolas? Not metal. What kind of art? Are they black crayons?
Crying.
Definitely not metal. There's no crying in metal.
Drugs.
I can go either way on that one. Because I don't do drugs and I think I'm metal, but doing drugs is pretty metal too.
Hey!
Victor Crowley.
Metal.
Hey!
E.T.
Not metal.
Gene Simmons.
Definitely not metal.
Boba Fett.
Metal.
Hey!
Nice. Lettuce.
It depends on the situation, but most situations not metal.
What lettuce situation would call for metal?
Being shot out of a cannon at an AC/DC show. Metal.
Hey!
Shaving.
Lime?
Lime?
Is it lime scented?
No.
Not metal.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Very metal.
Hey!
Muppets.
Not metal.
Really?
Sorry, Jesse.
Even Animal?
Animal's a little metal, but you're gonna separate him from the pack? I mean, he's just overpowered by the not metalness. And what's Bernie Sanders doing in the middle there?
Tiffany.
Whoa, not metal.
Even could have been?
Yeah, backstage at a Poison show maybe, but definitely not singing on her records.
What about the song she did that the Beatles covered?
What song was that?
I Think We're Alone Now?
I Think We're Alone Now.
No, sorry, I saw him standing there.
The Beatles could be the original version by Tiffany.
Oh, she didn't do it first?
Oh, Jesus.
Guar.
Metal.
Hey!
Indiana Jones Life.
Get the fuck out of here.
Star Wars Monopoly.
Sorry, Adam, not metal. Not metal.
Metallica Monopoly.
Well, clearly metal. It's in the name.
Hey!
A metal dustpan.
Only because it's rusty, metal.
Hey!
If it was brand new, not metal.
Having a rare limited edition picture disc of one of your records.
Probably the most metal thing that you've done today.
Hey!
Nice.
Or in your life.
Owning several copies of a record and keeping one of them in the original shrink wrap with the hype sticker.
Wow. Definitely metal, especially because it's not the cutout.
Hey!
Yeah, I have 4 copies of this over there. One that I listened to, one new release, one that I keep sealed, and one that is a cutout, but I wanted to be able to pop open the thing.
You are truly a wonderful human being.
Arwen.
Not metal. Okay, metal.
Hey!
Speed round.
Go.
Sex.
Metal.
Band-Aids.
Not metal.
Penicillin.
Metal.
Fitness.
Metal.
Lemmy.
Metal.
Darth Vader.
Metal.
I can't make this stop.
What's going on?
Editing's too fast.
Well, stop it.
I can't stop.
You can stop
No,
it.
we're stuck in it.
This is your show.
I can't make it stop.
Stop
I
it.
can't stop it.
This is not the show.
It's too metal. I
don't
can't make
want
it
to
stop. I
listen.
can't.
You stop this.
Oh my God!
You didn't ask me this one, but I gave you my opinion anyway. Poop, not metal.
So at the time that we're shooting this, you're about to record a new album that's like a completely new direction, a new everything. You were telling me like no more headbanging, no more this, and all about the singing, and that's pretty exciting because you're one of the few frontmen who is about the singing and can still do it.
Yeah, well, I just don't want to disappoint And nobody beats gravity. Gravity wins, man. And no matter how.
Not with you. Are you kidding me? You're a grandfather. Have you seen what you look like on stage?
Yeah, thank you. But it's you can't. Nobody beats gravity. Eventually, you're gonna go down, and I don't want that moment to be in front of an audience, in front of people. I actually thought about wearing one of those pendants, one of those emergency on stage this year. Seriously, around my neck. I've fallen, I can't get. I mean, if I went down on stage, it would be a good 10 minutes before anybody in the band or audience realized that it was serious. He's just writhing around on the floor. Oh, that day. That day. When I'm with Twisted, I can't help but thrash. It's what people expect me to do.
I don't know how the fuck you do it.
It's a bitch. It's a bitch. I was having I hate this, but I'm going to tell you here because this is the reason why I want to stop. I don't want to be an old guy talking about his ailments, but I was having this problem with my left butt cheek and a muscle issue and a lower back issue. As I'm going to a physical therapist and they're going, have you smashed your left buttock? And I go, no, I haven't. I go, unless is dropping to the floor from a standing position onto a stage
in front of thousands
of people, just dropping down. Would that do it? He goes, the left buttock. I go, well, yeah. He goes, yeah, you got to stop doing that. I go, I can't. He goes, well, can you sort of fall to your knees? And I'm like, well, I'll try. And I did that once, and I was like, that's not metal. Not metal. like sort of collapsing to your knees and then falling on the floor. It's like what you see an old person do in the department store. And I got it, and the next show I'm just back to burning hell, bam, slamming onto the ground, and just if I'm not feeling like I hurt myself, I feel like I've cheated the audience, and I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's like the level of commitment that I feel with Twisted, And it just, as soon as the songs start, as soon as whatever, and the audience is there, I can't not do it.
So what are you afraid of in real life?
Well,
what are you scared of?
I was thinking about that, and I have a tendency to face my fears, and just walk right into them, and then I'm not afraid anymore. But I'm terrified of failing again. And I really just realized the other day, because Suzette, when I say, yeah, I'm going to slow up, I'm going to retire, and she laughs, and she goes, you're right. You're endlessly coming up with new ideas and new projects and new challenges. You said you were wrapping up your musical part of your career, and now you're doing a new album. And, you're working, you wrote the musical Rock and Roll Christmas Tale, and now you're working on another musical, and now you're working on another book, and I said, why can't I stop? And I realized that the fall I took in the early 90s when I lost everything and my entire career fell flat, and I found myself, riding a bicycle to a desk job, answering phones for a couple $100 a week and lying to people about who I was, and flying cars, as I talked about in my book, put in the rain at wedding fairs for my wife.
Yeah, man, the opening of the book.
It was so emotionally debilitating. It was so humiliating. It was so devastating. It was so humbling, and I'm terrified that something will happen, and I'll go back there. I worked, when I was trying to climb out of that in the 90s and trying to regroup and figure it out. And in the positive, telling yourself, it's just temporary, it's transitory, I'm gonna look back on this, and then the little voice going, what if it's not? What if this is, you're sitting in this dank basement trying to create something, that's where you're gonna be for the rest of your life. And I got out, but it was so scarring and so emotionally, I can't even begin to describe it, that I realized that I'm running as fast as I can because I'm afraid if I stop running, it'll catch up with me. It'll happen again, and now I'll be an old man and I'll be broke and I'll be, I'm just terrified. I really am. And I can't stop.
I describe what I do often by saying it's like I'm a shark. Like I have.
That's
to
the word
keep
I was using in my
swimming.
mind. Yes, that's the.
If I stop, I'll drown.
Right.
So people are like, so you're doing the podcast, you're doing these weekly shows, you're writing this movie, you're doing this, you're doing that, and it's like, well, first of all, you need to understand that times have changed, and this shit doesn't really pay anymore. You got to do a lot of it.
Yeah.
So
no one thing's going to pay the bill, so a little bit here and there altogether.
And most things you're working on might not even happen. They'll fall through. It's not going to, whatever it might be. So, you cannot stop. You can't take a vacation. You can't take a day off. You can't do, you have to keep going. And it's fear-based, all of it.
It really hit me the other day. Yeah, I used, the shark is a very powerful, is there another fish that's less powerful that has to keep going or else it'll die? Because I don't feel like a shark. Right. I don't feel strong. I feel frightened, I feel like I'm running scared, and that, it's a fear-based thing. It's not like a macho, tough guy thing. Because I kind of would like to. I don't want to stop, I get pleasure out of creative things, but I was on the plane the other day, and I am frantically typing. And she's like, "What are you doing?" Because when I get into something, it's like I'm beating up the keyboard. I don't know about you, but when I don't type lightly. I type
yeah.
I expect like Harpo Marx playing piano in that legendary movie where the keys start flying off. Yeah. Expect they're gonna fly right off the keyboard. People are looking at, what the fuck is he mad at, And I said, I got an idea for a live concert event with me and Vince Neil and Sebastian Bach, and in Vegas, and I've got to get it down on paper, and I'm typing it frantically, and then I got it's brilliant, and now I'm trying to get online on the plane so I can send it off to my managers and my agents. So this idea, and I couldn't get online for some reason. So the next day I wake up and I said, I didn't send anything. Let me just read it. I'm going, what the hell was I fucking thinking? It was the craziest fucking manic show concept, and it wasn't good. And so I said, this is me afraid to just coast. Afraid to let things happen. I've got to conjure something, make something out of nothing. Me, clean and sober and professional, and Vince Neil and Sebastian Bach. I like Vince and I love Sebastian, but still, could you imagine a working relationship between the three of us?
Well, which in closing this, AJ passed away this year, which is terrible, and. You guys had said that each of you had sort of picked who you would want to replace you in the band should the unthinkable happen and there's still shows to be played. Is Sebastian who you chose?
Tried.
To replace you I know you tried at one point, but if you would
the guys asked him and he said no way. He said, I'm not going on after him. I'm not filling in for Dee Snider. It's I apparently got some shoes that are tough to fill, and I think Sebastian could do a good job. But yeah, he's the only person I could think of that had the intensity, had the vocal prowess. Not that I'm incredible. He's got more vocal prowess than me, but could deliver my songs with that intensity, with that love. He's a fan, And I absolutely, and I called him up and I said, come on, man. I said, come on. I'm dying for them to find something. They were actually trying to see if he would do it so they could keep going without me. And he said, no. Yeah. That's a thankless job. Going out on stage, Twisted Sister, and not with no Dee Snider and Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, and again, I love Sebastian Bach. I got every one of his solo records over there. Slave to the Grind.
He's great.
Great, but nobody can replace you, and nobody ever will replace you.
Apparently not.
It can't happen.
Lemmy said recently, shortly before he died, he said, "I'm starting to think this rock and roll thing isn't good for you." When all these people were passing away, you know, and but I've never played that game, so I've always been running a marathon. I'm good. I'm going to be around for a while. Don't worry. Don't worry, Adam.
Because that's my biggest fear.
And I promise I'll say really nice things at your funeral.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I won't be able to talk at yours, but hopefully I die first.
Well, I appreciate that.
Welcome.
I appreciate you said really nice things about me while I'm here, which is really the time to say nice things about people.
I know.
Not
Usually
after they're gone.
They always wait till you're gone.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this, because this season's been amazing. It's like, how do you finish this season? How do you have like a season finale that's just like, thank you for doing it, because it's awesome.
Hey man, our paths crossing is very cosmic and just bizarre. You know how it all happened and came together, and this is just all part of it. You know.
Yeah.
It's part of the prophecy.
And that's why you can't die.
I can't.
Ever.
Not until you die.
Thank you.
Okay, and if you don't die, then none of it will never die. We'll live forever.
Awesome.
Okay, here's the deal. Neither of us dies, because if the other one dies, then one's got to die. So if we both don't die, we're cool.
Sweet. All right. Well, good night. Wait.
Good night, Adam.
A season 3 of Scary Sleepover.
Very metal.
Hi!